Hi guys, it's Mandy from Mandyleeplays, and in this video I'm going to do a discussion videos on demos and why we need them, especially nowadays. I'm not gonna just sit here and say demos are good because everybody basically knows that. I don't think anyone's out here saying demos are bad, and if there is, I don't know what to do. They're probably just a contrarian. But I also want to talk about how it could be implemented in strategic places, especially before a game comes out, or some demos that just don't do a good job. That's actually a thing, unfortunately. But before we get into it, of course, if you end up liking this video, please hit that like button. Would appreciate it. It helps the channel out a lot. And also, if you're new to this channel and haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing if you like what you see. Oh, and also hit that hype button. So let's get into the video. Now, what really spurred my inspiration for this video is the fact that we've been getting a lot of demos from Square Enix and other developers. Most recently, Dragon Quest VII Reimagined we got a demo for, and also we have the upcoming new IP Pragmata got a demo, and Monster Hunter Stories 3. And let's be honest guys, there is a lot of bad stuff about the gaming industry in 2026, but demos and how they implement them has to be one of the best perks of gaming in 2026. But what are demos exactly? As gaming ballooned, the vertical slice used to showcase a game was quietly snuffed out. We traded gameplay for CGI trailers that ended up looking bad, and to this day we still get a lot of CGI type of trailers, and then we realize that the gameplay is not really that great. And unfortunately, we went from a try before you buy narrative to a more FOMO driven culture. You see a lot of people who have a really good game and you want to play it, so you end up buying it and you don't like it. Yeah, I think we've all been there at some point. But we live in 2026 and game prices have been going up. I remember back in my day when games were $50. I know, it's wild. But nowadays games are $70, if you're lucky $60, and if you're unlucky $80. You really have to think long and hard before you drop that kind of money into buying a new game, unless you're like freaky rich or something. And there's also the hostile fandoms or discourse that happens around games and the controversies. It could get a lot, and there's a lot of fanboys that are just like, here, shove anything and pretend that you like it. Just pretend you like it. But it's not all doom and gloom with the topic of this video. Demos have been in the gaming industry for a long time, but I feel now more than ever, demos are so important. Now, there was a time in the gaming industry where demos weren't really there. So what happened? Well, the biggest theory is that demos kill sales. This whole theory on do demos kill sales have been around for a while. So much so that the gaming industry kind of concluded that demos are bad and to stop making them. I will add that I'm talking about some developers, not all developers. Now, taking on face value, this theory might hold some water, but it's not in the way that you think. So demos, if done well, are really good for sales. It gets the game out and a lot of people get to try it for free. But if your demo is bad, then that gives the consumer kind of a red flag to not buy that game. So it's not because of demos in general, it's how the developer made that demo. You get what I mean? Demos are the tools. Developers just need to know how to use the tool well. But anyways, all this to say, I am loving that nowadays we are getting more demos and it's more normalized. But that being said, not all games do it. There's still a lot of games that don't have demos, and I know I harp on Square Enix a lot because of their game key cards, but I'll give them their flowers where it's due. They have been doing great when it comes to releasing demos, and I want to see that energy from more developers. Now, demos are not just about trying the game first and see if you like it. It could also be a way for developers to have some accountability. What do I mean by that? Well, I'll elaborate. The burden of risk often comes to the consumer. They gotta make the choice if they want to buy it, and where if you buy a game and you take off the plastic, you can't even, return it and get your full price. Now, for digital games, it's a bit different. You can return a game in due time, so that's pretty cool, but usually still the burden is on the consumer. But if a demo gets released, then that burden gets put on the developers, and not in a bad way either. A demo is basically kind of a flex for these developers because they know, hey, our game is good. so good, we're gonna give you a free try of it, and then you could tell all your girlies that the game is great. Now, a good example of this is with Team Masato, the people who are developing The Adventures of Elliot and the Octopath Traveler series are masters about using demos to not only get people excited, but to get feedback as well. And any good feedback that they've received from the demo oftentimes gets put into the game, and I love to see it. Implementing a demo is good for the consumers and the developers. And we've all heard those games that don't get a demo that should have gotten a demo. Now, I'm not saying it's the end-all be-all for the financial struggles of the gaming industry. Stuff like demos are one of the few good things that we have. Please do not touch our good stuff. Now, for me personally, I really do my homework before I buy a game. There's really not that many games that I just buy on a whim. The last one I bought was Digimon Time Stranger, and that game was fantastic. But that's not the rule for me. I tend to really look into a game before I go and buy it. So when the game I've been eyeing has a demo, I am so excited because it just makes the process of doing the homework to see if I like the game way more easier. And plus, I know a lot of people who play demos and say that they want the game, but they'll wait for a sale for that game. So it's not a crucial day one buy, but when a sale comes on, they'll buy it. Hi guys, Editing Mandy here. So this whole portion is recorded after the original recording, and I wanted to do this part again because I just didn't like, my first take. But once this part is done, it will go back to the regular recording. So my bad on that. Hope you don't mind. Anyways, so I went on and on about how demos are good for the consumer and for the developers and for everybody to sing kumbaya on demos. But that also raises a question. What actually makes a good demo? In my most humble opinion, a good demo shows off a good chunk of the beginning of the game, but not too much. We don't want to spoil the whole thing for everybody. A good demo really captures what the game is about in a short amount of time. In the end, the whole goal of a demo is for the devs to really sell you on that game. The most popular demos I've seen is basically taking the prologue of a game and making that the demo. In that way, they don't spoil anything and it gives us a good look at what the game is about. I've seen others where they just take a little slice of the game in the middle of the story, which I don't really like. As for the length, I think it should be 2 to 3 hours. If it's shorter, you're not going to really absorb the demo, so you really want to hit that sweet spot with the 2 to 3 hour mark, ideally. And in this short time, they should not only give you gameplay to get you acquainted with how it works, they should also build the story, because the story is what really makes people stay. And another thing that makes for a good demo is to have things like your save progress being transferred to the main game if you end up getting it, maybe some goodies for playing the demo, those are always so cute. But then saying all this, another question arises. Are there bad demos? And what would I consider a bad demo? So there are a few bad demos. Honestly, I haven't seen that much that are just egregious. For me, a bad demo only shows you one aspect of the game and forgoes the others. It's just asking for someone to not be sold on the game. And just keep in mind that a demo is one itty bitty part of the game. It should reflect the whole game, but sometimes it might not. Alrighty, now on to my regular recording. Now, stepping away from the financial side, another pro when it comes to demos is the ability to educate the consumer on what the game is about. Now, off the top of my head, I could say that Metaphor ReFantazio had a very fantastic demo prologue thing. It lets you play a lot of the beginning segments, it gave you a good taste of the boss, and it was pretty lengthy too. And also, you gotta realize that Metaphor ReFantazio is a new IP, and a lot of people are hesitant to really try new IPs because they're new. We kind of live in a nostalgia world, so new IPs should definitely have a demo as an option. Another example of this is with Pragmata. That game has a demo too, which would help a lot of people see if they're interested in this new IP. Because remember, everyone's a slave to nostalgia nowadays. So you really gotta make your new IPs be known, and a good way to do that is to have a demo. And this also helps with game IPs that have been dormant for a while as well. The benefits are limitless. Now on to the last thing I want to emphasize is it might get you out of your little niche of games and make you try new types of games. Like I said, demos are free, so there's no risk to it. I know for me, there's a ton of games that I wouldn't have bought unless there was a demo. As an Octopath Traveler fan, fan, it pains me to say that I wasn't all for it day one. I wasn't feeling the trailers, I wasn't really liking the whole concept, but then I played the demo and I fell in love. And now it's one of my favorite series of all time. So yeah, demos can help you try new games that you normally won't pick up, or you're kind of like apprehensive about picking it up. So to wrap all this up, I'm basically saying demos are amazing and we need more of them. And not just for the superficial reason that they're free. If you dig a bit deeper, you'll find so many benefits when it comes to demos. So that is it for today's video. If you found it helpful or enjoyed it, then please hit that like button, I would appreciate it. Also, let me know what demos you've been enjoying recently. And if you liked this video and would love to see more, then please consider subscribing if you're not yet subscribed. And to everybody who's already subscribed, thank you. Also, hype this video if you found it hypeable. That's pretty cringy to say, so hype this video if you want to. Let's get this demo propaganda out to more people because we need more demos. So with all that being said, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and as always, play a good game. Peace, peace.